Hey guys, Michael McLaren here, or Titus Malvolio, as some of you may know. Today, I wanted to talk about the late Mr. Satoru Iwata. I didn't get a chance, nor do I really have the equipment to make an actual tribute video. So I opted to do it in vlog form, as some people suggested to me. I just wanted to point out that Satoru Iwata was a brilliant man. He was a genius. For some of you watching this video and not knowing who Satoru Iwata is, he was, I believe, the 4th president for Nintendo. And I guess I should say Nintendo of Japan, but the Nintendo. He was the 4th president for that, and he recently passed away on, I believe it was July 11th, that he passed away at 55 due to a tumor in his bile duct, I think is what they said. Which is such an unfortunate loss, because he basically shapes many of the games that we all know and love today. He assisted in games like Earthbound and Kirby and Super Smash Brothers. You know, all of these games that we play every single day, actually. Like, all of these games that we all know and love from our childhoods, Mr. Iwata was a huge part of. He was a programmer. And before Nintendo, he worked for HAL Laboratories, and they used to be the ones who to develop games like Kirby, for example, and like Mario and the old Mario parties. Like, those were all HAL Laboratories, and the original Super Smash Brothers was HAL Laboratories, and I think also Smash Bros. Melee, which all of you know and love, HAL Laboratories. He was a huge part of making those games become a reality, and I'm not saying that we've taken him for granted. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that we definitely should all commemorate him in some way, especially if you're a gamer or a Nintendo fan, because a lot of those games just wouldn't have happened if it weren't for him. I recently just finished playing Earthbound for the first time, just because I wanted to, you know, do something in honor of him. And I had never played all the way through Earthbound, and I, finally sat down, and it took me a couple of weeks, but I sat down and finally completed it, and it was amazing. It was like one of the best journeys I've ever had in my whole gaming life. And I definitely want to do a video on it at some point, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that experience would not have happened if it weren't for Mr. Iwata. And that experience, and, all the experiences before it with games that he had a hand in, like I said before, they just would not have happened if it weren't for him. And, like, I owe him, like, some of the greatest memories of my childhood are games that he was a part of, whether I knew it or not at the time. He was also, little does anyone know, he, is probably the reason why the Kirby series took off the way it did. He had a huge hand in getting, I believe, that first game off the ground. Kirby's, not Return to Dreamland. But you know what I'm talking about. The very first Kirby game, he had a huge hand in the programming, and, like, no, he didn't pen the concept. I believe that was Mr. Sakurai who penned the concept of Kirby, but Iwata was the one who programmed it. And he also had a hand in games like Balloon Fight, and just all of these games. Pokemon Gold and Silver. If you remember playing that game and loving that game, and the fact that you could also explore the Kanto region as well as the Johto region, you can thank Mr. Iwata for that. He was the sole reason why that was possible in that little teeny Game Boy Color cartridge. That was the reason that you could, for the first time ever, and the only time ever, explore 2 regions in one Pokemon game. Just, he accomplished so many things in his time on this earth. And, hold on one second. And if you have one of these 3DSs, he was the reason that the Game Boy transitioned to the regular DS in the first place. So if it weren't for him, these would have never happened. You know, they wouldn't have expanded on this idea and made such a brilliant handheld console that is wildly popular to this day and is probably going to remain popular for years to come. And I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point, but I just wanted to talk about how important this man's decisions have, or I'm sorry, how much this man's decisions have affected my life as a gamer and as a human being. I've always been a Nintendo fan my entire life, and you know, and obviously as a kid you never realize, you know, who's behind all of it. Like, you don't realize that and you don't appreciate it until you grow up a little bit and you realize that every game you play, every console you have, all of that starts with an idea. One person's idea, man or woman. And in this case, it just happened to be Mr. Iwata's ideas that, you know, penned the revolution, I guess you could say. As the Wii U, as the Wii's original codename was Revolution, I think that word just, you know, it fits in really well with like the whole grand scheme of Nintendo as they are today, because they helped revolutionize the gaming industry as it is right now today. They helped with all that, and Mr. Iwata was such a huge part of that. And I guess ultimately all I wanted to say in video form was thank you. I wanted to thank Mr. Iwata and all of Nintendo for giving me all these precious memories that I would never trade away for the world. Sorry, I didn't want to do this video so late, but I just never really knew what I was going to say in it. And sometimes it's tough to just blurb all the words you want to say in your head. And obviously, you know, I'm not scripting this. This is all just coming from my heart. And I just, again, thank you. Thank you to Nintendo and to Mr. Iwata, and I honestly wish the best for the company, for Nintendo, and in this tough time of theirs, you know, looking for a new CEO to be Mr. Iwata's successor. And I don't know, I have no worries for Nintendo right now. They are in the best possible place that they can be. You know, like games-wise, and they got mini games on the horizon, and they got this new console that they're gonna show off next year at E3, and they got all their mobile plans, and like I'm not worried whatsoever for Nintendo. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this video up before I look like a fucking idiot. Sorry, cursing. Anyway. Thank you again to Mr. Iwata. Thank you for all the memories. You were a brilliant man, a genius, and a scholar, and I hope you have a great time up there. You deserve it. Thank you again.